plus 20. There ain't nothing I'm forgetting, is it? We're live. Okay. I'm talking about fresh in the house. Going live. Hold on. Some good sweet tea. Boy. Let's go ahead and hold on. Hold on, gang. Go ahead and get that going. Yo. Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat? Hold on. Let's go ahead and fix this. Boom. All right. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? That is desktop audio. All right, we good. All right. So today we will be ranking the projected starting quarterback for each NFL team, all 32. The only place you'll get that right here, live, right now.
Will you be remembered? How would you be remembered? Why wouldn't you fight for the greatest achievement ever? Leave your mark.
All right, what's up, chat? Welcome to Controversial Calls. If you're new here, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe. Click the link in the description or the bio and just connect with me on all apps listed. Today, like I said, we will be ranking each projected starting NFL quarterback. So, with that being said, let me find a tier list. If anyone is in here, how are you doing? How are you doing today? 2026 NFL QB tier list. I'm a bit all over the place because I just got in the house. Just walked in and immediately started streaming. A bit all over the place. What is this? All right. Is this all 32? All right, bro. All right. Boom. All right, chat. So, as we see here, we have all 32 starting quarterbacks listed. We have a little tier list. We're going to rank them in order, but also put them in these tiers. I'm going to let you know now. Hold on. I haven't eaten, so I might be eating while doing this. I apologize if it bothers you. I'm not a smacker or nothing, so we'll be good. But with that being said, let's go ahead and rank all 32 quarterbacks. Let's look at these tier lists first. We have elite, franchise quarterback, starting caliber, mid, and backup. So I don't think I like the tier list that much, truth be told. I feel as if I don't like the mid versus elite and things of that nature. But we're gonna rock out with it for right now. I want to see if I want to change this. Should I change the tier list a bit? So we could keep elite, franchise quarterback. Like, I feel like if you're a franchise quarterback, you have to be elite for the most part. I don't know. That's just my way of thinking. There's not mayo on this, is it? No. No. Like, what franchise quarterback isn't elite? Starting caliber, mid and backup. I don't know about that. I feel as if being mid, you could be a mid starting caliber quarterback. Kyler Murray is a mid starting level quarterback. I don't know if I like this one that much. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find something a little better to me. Yeah, I don't necessarily like that one too much. That was a bit, I don't know, it felt a bit broad. It felt a little broad. Okay. This is the one that I found earlier. This is the one I found earlier. This is the one that I wanted to do. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. As you see, we're gonna go ahead and put the backups in. So Max Brosmer, Jake Browning. Who is this? We gonna put Quinn Ewers there. They do have Malik Willis on here, right? I see Malik. We gonna put James is there. Russ, you're retired, so we're just gonna automatically put you in. Now we'll put you in backup. We ain't gonna do Russ like that. Carson Wentz, you can go in F. Deshaun, you could go in F too. They both suck. Horrible. Let's see. Starters. Tyrod. I'm not sure if Penix is on here. We'll see. Geno Shuck. Sanders. We gonna say Shador is the starter, because he should be. Phillip Rivers, love you, but you're retired, so you go there. You go there. Cooper Rush. AR, you go there. Spencer, love Spencer, you go there. Oh, there go Michael Penix right there. Who are we gonna say is the starter? I think we're gonna say Tua's the starter. We're gonna assume Tua's the starter. That's what I'm safe with. I'm safe with assuming Tua's gonna be the starter. All right. Okay. Anywho, whoever that is that Jordan Tamu? Who is that? That's Sam Ellinger? Ellinger? Josh Johnson? Snoop Huntley? Dylan Raiola? No. Did I say Dylan Raiola? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Dylan Raiola is crazy. Allen, Brissett, Burrow, Kirk. I didn't see Mendoza on here. So I don't think Mendoza's on here. Yeah. All right. Whoa, Mac Jones. Polar bear, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Polar bear. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 28, 32. All right. We have our 32 starting quarterbacks. So, with that being said, let's go ahead. I'm going to get these guys out of F. I'm going to get them out of F. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this started. Starting from 32 and going to 1. All right, so I feel like the way I want to do this is kind of break it up. I want the top 5 in their own tier. Then I feel like it could be 6 through, what's a good number? feel like this could be 6 through 10. I don't want to do 6 through 10. Hold on. Let's see. We're going to do 32 to what? What's a good number? We'll just go by force. So 25 to 32. Do that there. We'll go 24. We'll do 15. Nah, we'll do 17 or 24. All right. Boom. Let's see. We got 17 to 24. Trying to see what else we should do. 17 to 24. So we have 7 through 16. We'll do 6 through 11. And then 12 through 15, I guess. Let me stop being fancy, bro. We'll do 1 through 8. We'll keep it 1 through 5. Make this 6 through 10. We'll do 11 through 20. 11 through 20. And then we'll do 21 through 32. We gonna keep it simple. I'm not finna sit here and continuously waste all this time. I don't want to edit this. Why is it not letting me delete? Delete that row. All right. So, boom. The worst starting quarterback going into next season. And this is just right now, obviously. This is not based on what I think their season is going to be. This is just based on the quarterback right now. The worst starting quarterback going into next season is going to be, drum roll, we got, who is it going to be? Nah, for real, on a serious note, the worst starting quarterback next year, I'm going to give it to Shador as of right now. Now, I think Shador obviously has the potential to be a good quarterback in the league. Now, I'm not sure if he'll be a perennial all-star. He's already an all-star, apparently. So, but I think right now Shador is the worst starter. But that's no shade to Shador. I just think he's young. We saw a glimpse of what he could do last year. He had his ups and downs. Shador really takes care of the football. It's a matter of him getting the ball out a little faster. But I think with the more time he gets on the field, the better, obviously, of a feel he'll get of that. And I just think right now it's safe to say he's the worst starter. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I definitely think Shador, I'm not sure if by the end of next season he leaves this tier, but he definitely won't be the worst starter if he is given a chance. I say that for sure. This list is subject to change also. At 31. I'm looking. I know who I want to put at 31 for real. At 31, I feel like it has to be Brissett. And the reason I didn't put Brissett at 32 is because we've seen Brissett as a starter over more games than Shador. I'm pretty sure. Matter of fact, let me look this up. How many NFL games has Jacoby Brissett started? Jacoby Brissett All right, let's go to good old stat muse. All right. It says Jacoby Brissett has a passer rating of 86.6 with 14,000 yards, 73 touchdowns, 31 interceptions in 65 games as a starter in his career. So Jacoby Brissett, my point, Jacoby Brissett isn't gonna light up the stat sheet, or he's not the greatest starter. Obviously, he's a bridge quarterback. When we talk about bridge quarterbacks in the league now, Jacoby Brissett is the bridge quarterback. But I know it. You know what you're gonna get out of Jacoby Brissett. You're gonna get safe quarterback play. You're not really gonna get many explosives, but you know, on a team that can compete, he's not the worst bridge to have, and that's what I think. So we're gonna keep Jacoby Brissett at 31. At 30, it's a 2-man competition here. It's a 2-man competition right here. It might be a 3-man competition between. Let me put the top prospects up here. We have Kirk Cousins, right? We have Geno Smith, and we have Tua Tagovailoa. Out of these three, one of them has to take the number 30 spot. This is my 28 through 30 right here. It's a matter of who goes where and why they go there. So, out of these three, let me make sure there's no one else. Yeah, out of these three, the person I want to put at 30, I'm going to have to put Kirk there. I respect Kirk Cousins. As a Washington fan, Kirk Cousins could play some really good football. But ever since stepping foot in Atlanta, it seems like all of his football talent has disappeared. I don't know what happened to Kirk. A guy that was known as a semi-gunslinger, ever since stepping foot in Atlanta, he's been a turnover machine. It seemed like I said, it seemed like he just doesn't know how to play football anymore. So I feel like putting Kirk at 30 is real safe. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mendoza by week 3, week 4. I know the Raiders really want to keep Mendoza on the bench because they don't think he's ready yet, or at least Tom Brady doesn't think he's ready. But I think the Kirk Cousins I know, the Kirk Cousins I've watched over the previous couple years, it just hasn't looked well. He went from being a really solid quarterback to looking like a guy who some might argue, why is he even in the league anymore? And that's not a crazy question. Then here, I'm going to go ahead and put Tua at 29. Injury concerns, but also when he's on the field, he makes a lot, and I mean a lot, of boneheaded mistakes that will make you scratch your head. Like, Tua, what are you doing? And no different with 28, Geno Smith. No different with him. It's really pick your poison. And I just think Geno has a bit more explosive play ability in a sense of a deep ball. I feel like Tua, one of his strongest strengths when playing in Miami was his deep ball, but it also helps when you have two of the best deep threats in the league. And it seemed like Tua's arm talent has regressed a bit. So that's why I'm going Geno. I just think Geno's a better pure passer of the ball, but Geno has his fair share of mistakes that make you wonder why he's in the league also. But I feel like this is where the list gets tough. Starting from 27 down, the list gets tough. At 27, I can see a multitude of things. I'm gonna keep it a beam. At 27, I see a multitude of players that can make it. Like Malik Willis. Malik Willis definitely could be 27. Just based off the pure fact, we've seen Malik as a starter, but it was in a lot of limited snaps. And one thing that you can say, opposing teams really did not have much footage on him as a Green Bay Packer. When Malik stepped in as a Green Bay Packer this season, he probably had a couple snaps from previous seasons that I'm not sure about. I'm just assuming. But when he came in, that it was a totally different offense. They made a game plan that really used Malik's strengths. And Malik was also slinging the ball, obviously, but I feel like a lot of that was Malik and the running game really getting going, and they would just build play fake off that. Now, who says that won't be the case in Miami? That could be the case, but in a 17-game season, that's not always going to be the game plan. We haven't seen Malik as just a pure passer of the ball. So, right now, I'm going to put Malik at 27. Malik has the potential to definitely go up on this list. Definitely. So, I don't expect this to be a permanent spot for him. But this is just a spot for Malik right now. It's that simple. So, let's go over the list real quick. 27 is Malik. 28 is Geno. 29 is Tua. 30 is Kirk. 31 is Brissett. And 32 is Shedeur Sanders. I think it's a real solid list right now. At 26, like I said, the list starts to get grimy because the NFL talent pool at quarterback is very deep now. So these quarterbacks really starting with Shedeur, but really starting at Malik Willis. There's a lot of good quarterbacks that might seem like they're getting disrespected, but that's just how talented NFL quarterbacks are now. Every team, for the most part, has a quarterback. And that's just me keeping it a bean. But let's get to 26. Am I going to have to do it to him? I don't want to do it to him, bro. But I think I'm going to have to do it to him. This is a guy that I think is going to have a really big year this year. A really good year. He is in New Orleans. He's in the booth. Tyler Shough. Right now, you have to be 26. Tyler Shough, I'm saying it right now. What's today? Today is August 7th. Friday, August 7th, 2026. By the end of this season, Tyler Shough will be at least in the top half of quarterbacks. Bare minimum. He could be possibly a top 12 quarterback. Top 10, I won't say that. But I do think he's going to be in the top half of quarterbacks. It's just right now, we saw Tyler Shough last year. He had his ups and downs. He was a rookie. But towards the end of the season, that offense really got things going. And with them adding talent such as Travis Etienne and Jordan Tyson, while being able to still keep Juwan Johnson and Alvin Kamara, hopefully Chris Olave stays healthy, this offense has big play potential. They're surrounded by a bunch of young guys, and they still have their vets that's going to do a lot of the underneath dirty work. This could be an explosive offense. Only if they have Rashid Shaheed, right? But right now, Tyler Shough has to go at 26. And like I said, I don't think he's going to be there. Actually, I object. We're going to put Jackson Dart at 26, and we're going to put Shough at 25. Jackson Dart, I'm going to give him his spotlight. Jackson Dart, like every rookie quarterback, he had his ups and downs. Jackson Dart has to find a way to stay healthy and just progress as an NFL quarterback. He has to learn not to escape the pocket so quick. Sit there, get comfortable in the pocket, at least attempt to be comfortable in the pocket. That Giants O-line could use some work besides Andrew Thomas. But either way, sit there, make a read. We're going to see, hopefully, him, if the Lord is willing, we're going to see him and Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterboo all on the field at the same time for the first time this season. I think they were all on the... Were they? I think they were all on the field at the same time at some point last year. But either way, we didn't really get a big sample of that. So hopefully with him having Malik Neighbors on one side of the field. If Darnell Mooney can stay healthy, Darnell Mooney. Also Theo Johnson, who's been emerging as one of the better young tight ends in the league. If his young core can stay healthy, we could see a big Jackson Dart year, a nice progression. But right now he's gonna be 26. I already talked about Shuck. He's 25. Keep it simple. At 24, I have two people I'm thinking about putting at 24. You could slick say 3, but I'm going to really say 2. It's between these two at the end. We have Cam Ward and Bryce Young. 2 young quarterbacks, both number 1 overall picks in their respective drafts. Cam Ward, last year, just like the other 2 rookie quarterbacks that I just listed, or just like the 2 quarterbacks going into their sophomore year, had his ups and downs. Unlike the other 2, he had a full year as a starter. It was a lot of downs and some ups. Some of that was because of Cam Ward. A lot of it was because of his surrounding talent. But with Cam Ward having a much improved team around him, not only offensively, but defensively, I expect a big year from Cam Ward. And Bryce Young, ever since Bryce Young has been in the league, it took him some time to figure it out. But ever since he got benched for Andy Dalton and he got put back in after Andy Dalton's injury, it seemed like he's been figuring it out. He's progressively just gotten better ever since then. So I think right now we're going to put Cam Ward at 24 and put Bryce Young at 23. I think right now, Cam Ward, I'm going to say obviously. I think Cam Ward is obviously more talented than Bryce Young. However, I just think right now, Bryce Young is a slightly better quarterback than Cam Ward. But that can all change as soon as like week 3. I think Cam Ward has big quarterback potential. I think Tennessee got them one. And I think Bryce Young can be a solid quarterback in the league. I don't think he'll ever be one of the best. I don't think he'll ever be a game-changing quarterback. But I think he could be a nice game manager who can make big plays, similar to Jalen Hurts. So this is 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. 2 more spots in this tier. At 22, I love Old Man Rodgers. I'm going to have to put Old Man Rodgers where he deserves to be. Old Man Rodgers is going to 22. Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer. Just right now, not the same gunslinger, not the same double check Rodgers that we all grew up to love. Not the same double check Rodgers, but still a serviceable quarterback. Helped lead the Steelers to the playoffs last year, right? But if you're looking for a quarterback to create a lot of explosive plays, that's not A-Rod no more. He's not doing the same thing he was doing with his legs years ago. But he's still a serviceable quarterback that can help lead a solid to good team to the playoffs like he did last year. I love me some A-Rod, but he, to me, is the 22nd quarterback, the 22nd best quarterback going into next season. And at the 21 spot, this is tough because I respect every quarterback on this list. I respect every quarterback. If you look at just the quarterbacks down here, it's a very talented group. A very talented group of quarterbacks. But if I had to put anyone at 21, it's between Kyler Murray and CJ Stroud. Now, the reason why CJ Stroud is in this conversation is because over the previous last season and a half, it just has not looked good for CJ Stroud. I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Obviously, we are always going to remember his rookie year. And it seemed like his second year was going to be even better. But at some point, CJ Stroud, it seemed like right now he's hit a plateau. Now, my theory is that I believe his offensive line has him rattled so bad to the point to where he doesn't trust his offensive line. And he's still a young quarterback. He's only going in the year 4. I feel like when young quarterbacks get hit so much or they take so much abuse, especially in their early years, it could create happy feet. Oftentimes last year, if you watch a CJ Stroud-led Texans team, if you watch them play, CJ Stroud, you see his feet. He has happy feet. He's just itching at the bit to get the ball out, and that led to a lot of his mistakes. We'll see if he cleans that up this year. And as far as Kyler is just a mid quarterback. I feel like Kyler Murray is a quarterback with a high floor, but a low ceiling. Like his floor is 7 to 8 wins, and his ceiling is like 9 to 10 wins. Like there's not much of a difference. But with that being said, who would I rather have right now? That is a tough question. I'm gonna keep it a being with you. Who would I rather have right now? They're really interchangeable. Who would I rather have right now? Like if I had a football game going right now, I'm not going based off potential. Right now, I would have to take Kyler. Right now. Right now, I'm taking Kyler Murray. I trust Kyler Murray a bit more than CJ. But it won't take me long. It wouldn't take Kyler long. Whoa, what am I doing? It wouldn't take Kyler long to earn my trust back. Let's put it like that. So, with that being said, yo, I ain't gonna lie. This list is all messed up. Hold on, chat. Let's delete that row. 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 20. Okay, so with that being said, right, let's go over this list. Shador is at 32. Brissett is at 31. Kirk 30. Tua 29. Geno 28. Malik 27. Dart 26. Shuck 25. Ward 24. Young 23. Rodgers 22. Stroud 21. And obviously Kyler Murray. If I had such a huge debate about who would be 21, obviously the next person was going to be 20. I already talked about Kyler. Just the epitome of mid. In my opinion, high floor, low ceiling quarterback. I feel like Kyler Murray's I feel like his career path is going to be real similar to Tyrod Taylor. To where Tyrod Taylor, you know what you're getting out of Tyrod Taylor, right? You're not going to get nothing. You're not expecting to win a Super Bowl with Tyrod. But if you're looking for a respectable team and you just need a vet to lead that team into the playoffs and just test your luck, I feel like that's what Kyler's going to be. So that's why I got Kyler at 20. Like I said, this list is tough. This list is real tough. All right, but we know we got Kyler at 20. At 19, so many quarterbacks I respect up here. At 19, I'm going to have to put Daniel Jones. He had a really good year last year. And this is not the first time we've seen Daniel Jones have a really good year in the NFL. He had a very good year in, 22? He had a really good year in 22. That's when the season after, I think he got paid. Yeah, he got paid. The whole Saquon debacle. Either way, Daniel Jones can be a really good starting quarterback in the league. It's just, I think he needs the perfect situation. Right? Because when you compare the Colts, the way the Colts started off last year, and compare that to the Giants, hold on. Okay. When you compare the Colts last year, the way they started off, and you compare that to the Giants team in 22, it's very similar. A very strong run game, an offensive line that can hold their own. What else? A defense, if they weren't the best in the league, they could create turnovers. And last year, that Colts defense was creating turnovers left and right in the first that first half of the season. That's when the Colts. I made a video on my TikTok talking about the Colts possibly as a number 1 seed. So I think Daniel Jones just has to be in the right place, right time, and he has to be in the right system. But I like Indianapolis for him. Obviously, he lost Michael Pittman, but he still has Josh Downs and Alec Pierce when he gets back. So I like 19. I like the 19 spot for Daniel Jones. I think that's a respectable number for him. I wouldn't consider him a top half of the league quarterback, but I just think he's right around that mid range right here. I feel like in this range right here, you're gonna see a lot of game managers, a lot of quarterbacks that I don't think elevates their team, but in the right situation can really create damage. That's what we're gonna see right here. At 18, this is so tough. I'm being so honest. Because 18, all of these quarterbacks, let's do something. Let's see something real quick. Pro Bowler. Sam Darnold has made a Pro Bowl, right? I know Goff made one. Herbert made one. Hurts made one. He made one. I'm not sure if T-Law made one, but I'm pretty sure Trevor made one. I'm pretty sure Love made one. He made one. Pretty sure Drake made. He didn't go to the Pro Bowl, but I'm pretty sure he would have been a Pro Bowler last year. He was a runner-up in the MVP. Baker Mayfield has made one. Bo Nix probably hasn't, but he could be a Pro Bowl quarterback easily. Dak has made one. Purdy has made one. Stafford made one. And Williams made one. So, all of these quarterbacks are pretty much Pro Bowl level talents. That just goes to show you how talented the league is. So, no hard feelings. At 18, I think I'm going to go Bo. Do I want to go Bo Nix? Do I want to go Bo Nix? I'm not sure if I want to go Bo Nix here. I'm going to tell y'all who the debate is between. It's between Purdy, Nix, and Lawrence. Now, I know a lot of people would be like, well, Purdy is better than both, and Lawrence is better. I'm not sure. I view Trevor Lawrence kind of similar to Kyler Murray. I felt like they both came out of college as the number 1 picks in their respective drafts with a lot of hype, and I don't think they've, especially Kyler, I don't think Kyler has reached it at all. He reached it in the first half of that 21-22 season? For like half of that season when he was the MVP favorite, but then he quickly went downwards. And Trevor Lawrence last year was by far his best year. But I'm not sure if Trevor Lawrence will ever just be that franchise guy that will lead his team to a Super Bowl. I think I'm going to keep Nix at 18. I do think Nix at 18 is fair. We're going to do Nix at 18. I respect Bo Nix. Very tough. Doesn't take no nonsense. Competitor. If he was healthy last year, you could argue the Broncos at the very least would have made the Super Bowl. I could very much see it. But with him on the field, the Broncos have a leader. They have a guy with the gunslinger mentality. He's not scared to put the ball in harm's way, which could be one of his greatest attributes and one of his greatest downfalls also. But when Bo Nix on the field, he always gives the Broncos a chance, and that's all you can ask for. At 17, I think I like Trevor Lawrence at 17. Just for the pure fact. Nah, I think I'm going to go Purdy at 17, actually. This is tough. I think I'm going to keep Purdy at 17. And I think I'm going to keep T-Law at 16. And the pure reason why I say that is because I feel like Purdy, the one knock against Purdy that anyone can say is that any quarterback that has played in that Kyle Shanahan offense has succeeded for the most part. Trey Lance is probably the only guy that has not succeeded. And if you want to go like CJ Beathard, if you want to be that petty, but he never came in and was supposed to be the starter. That was all due to injury. But every other quarterback that has played for San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan, it's been pretty good for him. So, I feel like that's the knock I'm going to use as to why I have Lawrence above him. Trevor Lawrence, he finally got a competent offensive mind with him last year in Liam Cohen. He got a bunch of weapons around him. And it's no coincidence he had his best year of his career last year. So, I like this. Trevor Lawrence, 16, Purdy, 17. Now we get into the top 15 quarterbacks in the league. I like the quarterbacks that I have left. And to start off at 15, I think I'm going to go with Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff, when I think of a system quarterback, and this is no disrespect, Jared Goff is the epitome of a system quarterback. Jared Goff needs the correct system around him in order for things to really formulate to the best ability. When you think about his days with the Rams, he had a decent amount of weapons around him. He had one of the best running backs in the league. You could argue he was the best running back in the league at Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and a very strong defense led by Aaron Donald. And when you think about Jared Goff on the Lions, you could argue he has the best starting surrounding talent around him. He has a superstar receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, arguably the best, I don't think he is, but arguably the best number 2 in Jameson Williams, one of the best tight ends in the league at Sam Laporta. Up until now, he had the best running back duo in the league in Sonic and Knuckles, a.k.a. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And the only problem is that, the defense was never that great, but injuries and the fact that when the time gets tough in big pressure moments, Jared Goff usually tends to crumble. That's when we see Jared Goff at his worst, which is why I think he is deserving to be a top 15 quarterback, but I don't think he's nothing more than 15. So that's why I like Jared Goff at 15. At 14, wow, this is a talented group of men right here. I'm going to keep it a bean. The rest of this list is going to be very tough. This is a very tough list. At 14, I think Baker is 14, y'all. I'm going to keep Baker at 14. I think Baker at 14, shows how much talent is in the league, but it's like it depends on what day you catch Baker. That's what I feel like it really depends on. Because Baker can sit there and light you up. I'm talking about a 27 of 35, 337-yard game, 3 touchdowns, with an additional 30 on the ground and arguably another rushing touchdown, right? Because that's how talented Baker Mayfield is. But at the same time, Baker Mayfield, and we saw it last year, he'll have his moments where he'll go 17 of, 28, 169 yards. He might throw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, might add a fumble on top of that. It depends on when you catch Baker Mayfield. But when you catch Baker Mayfield and he's hot, he's one of the hardest quarterbacks to stop. Tough, gritty, has a big arm, gunslinger mentality, not scared to sling it. Yeah, like Baker Mayfield, when I think about basketball analogies, right? Baker Mayfield is like J.R. Smith. Very streaky. When he's off, he's off. You sometimes question, how did you get in the league? What are you doing? Right? But when he's on, there's not many people harder to stop than him. And that's what I just think about Baker Mayfield. But I got Baker Mayfield at 14. I think that's a good spot for Baker. Oh, I'm thinking. Is Baker really 14? Or is it Jalen Hurts? Is Baker 14? Or is it Jalen Hurts? I think we're going to put Hurts at 14. We're going to put Hurts at 14, Baker at 13. I like that a bit more. Jalen Hurts, very talented quarterback, one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league. Very talented. When you need big plays, Jalen Hurts usually makes them. It depends on when you catch Jalen Hurts. He has his spurts where he's very safe with the ball, and that's usually winning football because with how talented the Eagles are, all he has to do is take care of the ball and let everything else handle itself. But there's sometimes where Jalen Hurts is a bit loosey-goosey with the football. And I feel like Jalen Hurts is usually either overrated or very disrespected. I think 14 is the perfect spot for Jalen Hurts. I think he's a very good game manager, but I think he's one of the best game managers in the league. He doesn't do too much, yet he doesn't do too little. I think he's just a winner. One thing about Jalen Hurts, everywhere he goes, he wins. In college, he won. I'm pretty sure in high school, he was a winner. In the league, ever since becoming a starter, he's been a winner. And that's nothing no one can take away from him. So I like Jalen Hurts at 14. Really good quarterback. Definitely top half of the league quarterback. We'll see how he responds this year with no A.J. Brown. The offensive line, they're getting older. They lost their offensive line coach this year. He, once again, is in a new system. We'll just have to wait to see how that all looks. We already talked about Baker. So Baker is 13 now. At 12. I feel like 12 is a very safe spot to put Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Let me give Sam Darnold his props, right? When last year, right, I wasn't a believer. I truly believe Sam Darnold lucked into the right spot in Minnesota. He had that Brian Flores defense behind him, which is the most confusing defense for opposing offenses to game plan against. He also had the best receiver in the league. He had one of the best offensive minds behind him last year in Minnesota, and I thought that was the reason why Sam Darnold's career took a resurgence. And you could kind of say it is, right? You have to be in the right spot in order to resurge your career. But Sam Darnold essentially did the same thing in Seattle, but the difference with last year's Sam Darnold versus Sam Darnold in 24, I saw the growth within Sam Darnold last year. When they played the Rams both times in the regular season, Sam Darnold looked shell-shocked. He was getting sacked. He taking unnecessary sacks, throwing unnecessary interceptions. The ball was all over the place. He looked uncomfortable. But about time they faced the Rams in the playoffs, his arch nemesis, the same team that did him dirty in the 24 playoffs, and the same team that really tortured him last regular season, right? Even though they split the season series, I'm pretty sure they tortured him in both games. He stood in the spotlight and made play after play after play after play against the same team that gave him fits in the previous 2 seasons. And that's the one thing I will give Sam Darnold his props on. He really grew last year. I saw the growth within Sam Darnold. He, pressure bust either pressure bust pipes. It also makes diamonds. Shout out Lil Tony for that bar. But At first, Sam Darnold was a pressure bust pipes type of guy. Now, I'm not sure how consistent it is, but right now it's looking like it's making diamonds. So shout out to Sam Darnold. I think he is the 12th best quarterback in the league. Just another occasion of a game manager. But one thing about Sam Darnold, he's not scared to let the ball fly. Mind you, the Seattle Seahawks had the least amount of passing attempts last year. Yet Sam Darnold and JSN still, that duo had the most passing yards amongst a duo in the league. So that just goes to show how much he trusts JSN. And shout out to both of them. They both had really good years last year, which is a big reason why they are the reigning Super Bowl champs. At 11, this is where things get real grimy. At 11. Well, let me make sure 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, we have 1 through 11 left. This is a very tough spot to put someone. I am debating between 3 people. Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert, and Jaden Daniels. Now, I'm going to tell you my argument for all 3. Caleb Williams, right? When we talk about talent, you can argue Caleb Williams is the most talented quarterback in the league. When you could talk about the combination of speed, size, arm power, big playability, just being a natural quarterback, Caleb Williams has all the intangibles. The knock on Caleb Williams is his consistency, though. Because Caleb Williams it's the equivalent of watching someone knock down a 40-foot three-pointer, yet they consistently miss the 12-foot mid-range shots. Or they consistently miss right around the rim. Caleb Williams is really frustrating in that aspect. But when he makes those plays, and he makes them consistently. Justin Herbert, he has all the talent in the world. When you talk about frame, 6'6", athletic, strong, tough, but there's a reason his nickname is If Man. I love Justin Herbert. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. You could argue he is my favorite quarterback in the league. But there's always something up with Herbert. And it seems like no matter what it is, the offensive line goes down. The offensive line is fixed. The receivers go down. The receivers are good. Herbert goes down. Herbert is up. Running backs go down. It's always something with Herbert. And I guess that's not a knock on Herbert. More so, that's a knock on the team. And really, I think they need to fire their strength and conditioning coach in Los Angeles. Something is not right. But with that being said, that's my knock on Herbert. And Jaden Daniels, he has all the talent in the world. That's my quarterback. But all bias aside, he has all the talent in the world. However, the one thing that keeps Jaden down is his injury concern. In his rookie year, he played every single game that season. But as someone who watched every single game, he had injury concerns throughout his rookie year. Broken ribs. Broken ribs that didn't hold him out of any games, but they happened. It got him pulled from that Carolina Panthers game. And last year, we don't even have to talk about last year, but we are. We're going to talk about the leg injury, or I think it was the hamstring. Obviously, the arm situation. It seemed like Jaden is always somewhat dinged up. That affects his ability to be his best self. But with that being said, this is tough. This is a very tough one. All 3 guys, I feel like you can make the argument is very interchangeable. At 11, I'm going to go Caleb Williams at 11. It's just, while the big plays are amazing, they're amazing. They're extraordinary. You have to be able to hit the layups too. Once he gets that down pat, Caleb Williams, without a doubt, is a top 10 quarterback. But right now, is just being more consistent, being able to hit the easy stuff while also being able to make the extraordinary plays. That's the only thing that's holding me back on Caleb. Besides that, he has all the talent in the world. He led that Chicago Bears team to a divisional round last year in a game in which they should have really, they had all the momentum, but last year, kind of an example, made big plays to get your team to overtime. In overtime, you threw a back-breaking pick. Whether or not you want to blame DJ Moore or not, it's a back-breaking pick. Arguably a ball that shouldn't have been thrown no way, with the corner playing underneath coverage and the safety right over the top. Those are the type of plays that make you scratch your head about Caleb Williams, hence the reason why he's at 11. Do a quick recap. We're going from 32 to 11 in this order: Shedeur, Brissett, Kirk, Tua, Geno, Malik, Dart, Shuck, Ward, Young, Rodgers, Stroud, Murray, Jones, Nix, Purdy, Lawrence, Goff, Hurts, Mayfield, Darnold, Williams. Boom. That is 11 through 32, right? I think this is a very good list. I think my list is fair. I think this is a very good list. I'm going to keep it the beam. Starting with the top 10, though. This is where things really get grimy. This is where things really get grimy. And obviously, it's between Herbert and Daniels, right? I'm going to put Daniels at 10. I'm going to put Herbert at 9. I just think it's a matter of Herbert stays on the field more than Daniels. And that's what it really comes down to. Herbert just stays on the field more. Besides that, I could see it going both ways. My argument, Herbert just stays on the field more. So Daniel starts off the top 10 at 10. Herbert is 9. At 8. At 8, I'm going to have to go with MVP runner-up Drake May. I'm a big component of I have to see it twice to believe it. I was that same way. Justin Jefferson had an amazing rookie year. And people were already downing him the best receiver in the league at that point. Or a top 5 receiver. I was like, I got to see it again. He did it again. He did it even better. And I'm quick to say, all right, boom. Best receiver in the league. Top 5 receiver in the league. Drake May had a really good year last year. Second in the MVP voting. Led his team to the Super Bowl. Also had one of the weakest schedules to play last year. This is not me going against Drake May. This is just me saying facts. His playoff run was bad. Did he play some of the top defenses in the league? Yes, he did. He started off with a top 10 defense in Los Angeles. And then immediately after, played the best defense in the league in Houston. And then after that, played a top 3 defense in the league in Denver. And then after that, played a top 3 defense in the league in Seattle in the Super Bowl. He had a very tough stretch. But also in that stretch, it did not look really good. And in a season where the schedule is going to be much tougher, you went from a last place schedule to the first place schedule. We're going to see what Drake May is really made of. Now, I do think Drake May is still a top 10 quarterback. People saying Drake May isn't a top 10 quarterback, that's crazy to me. But I do think Drake May is a top 10 quarterback. However, I'm going to have to see it. I'm going to have to see Drake May do it again to some sort of capacity. It doesn't have to be an MVP runner-up type of season, but it has to be a really good season. A season that makes you see, okay, yeah, Drake May is a top 5 quarterback. And then after that, we can start having those conversations. But right now, Drake May, to me, is the 8th best quarterback in the league. At 7, we go Jordan Love. Jordan Love to me, is the 7th best quarterback in the league. Man, what can Jordan Love not do? He can do it all. Dual threat quarterback. He doesn't even really rely on his legs. He really has made himself a pocket passer. But when he needs to, he could definitely use his legs, athletic, big arm. Just another case of the Green Bay Packers hitting gold at quarterback again. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3-4 years? And as soon as he gets on the field, you see why he sat behind Aaron Rodgers. He learned everything from Aaron Rodgers, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like I said, big arm, smart. His biggest concern at first was the turnovers, but last season he dialed it down quite a bit. So if he can continue to watch his turnovers and continue to play at the level he was playing at last year, watch out. Jordan Love and the Packers are coming. So yeah, Jordan Love to me is the 7th best quarterback in the league, and obviously rounding out at 6 is Dakota Rain Prescott, a guy that gets a lot of hate. But one thing about Dak Prescott, when healthy and when he has his targets, he produces. Dak Prescott, he was arguably, you could say he was in the MVP race last year. It was a couple seasons ago where he was also in the MVP race. Dak Prescott gets a lot of hate because he wears the star. Trust me, I understand. Trust me. But as a passer of the ball, as a thrower of the football, Dak Prescott is like that. And I feel like he's one of those quarterbacks that doesn't really get his recognition because of the team he plays for. But as a Commanders fan, I can keep it a bean. Every time we play Dak Prescott, I be scared. I'm going to be honest, bro. Especially when we play the Cowboys. For some reason, we forget how to play football against the Cowboys. But Dak Prescott is a walking stat machine. He's good for at least 4,300 yards every year. And with him having CD and George Pickens and Jake Ferguson at his disposal, that makes him that much more dangerous. And I think Dak Prescott is a top 6 quarterback in the league. So, 10 is Jaden. 9 is Herbert. 8 is Drake May. 7 is Jordan Love. 6 is Dak Prescott. I really like my list so far. I think my list is fair, no bias. And I think everybody, even if you don't agree with the spots that they're at, I think you can understand why they're at the spots they're at, especially with the rationale I'm giving. Oh, also about Dak. A lot of people are going to talk about his playoff performances, and he hasn't won nothing of note. Let me tell you something. Matter of fact, let me put it back on the screen. Out of this whole list, right, and I'm only looking at starting quarterbacks, right? Out of this whole list of starting quarterbacks, there's only 4 Super Bowl winners out of this whole list. That would be, 5. Sam Darnold, Jalen Hurts. Where you at? Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, and Matthew Stafford. It's only 5 starting quarterbacks that has won a Super Bowl. That means the other 27 hasn't won a Super Bowl. Now, are some better in the playoffs than others? Yes. But just because they're better in the playoffs doesn't mean they're a better quarterback. That's just me keeping it to me. Dak doesn't have the greatest playoff track record, but Dak is, to me, still the 6th best quarterback in the league. All right, starting off with the top 5. This top 5 is finna get real grimy. Because I know a lot of people will probably put Matthew Stafford at 5. I can't do it. Over the past couple seasons, you can argue Matthew Stafford has been the best quarterback in the league. I cannot fathom to put Stafford at 5. Which means one of the 4 guys that everybody was considering the top 4 over the past couple seasons, one of these 4 guys are going to be 5. Is it Allen? Is it Burrow? Is it Jackson? Is it Mahomes? We know it's not Stafford. I just said it's not Stafford. Mind you, I did not make a list, so I'm making this list up on the go. At 5, Lamar. Lamar is at 5. And I understand, hold on, let me think about it, man. That is 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson. But the thing about it, I'm talking about now. I don't think Pat is the 5th best quarterback in the league, but I can hear the argument. I can hear the argument for all 5, but these 4 in particular. 5th best quarterback in the league. So let's talk about each of their knocks, right? With Allen, it's obviously the playoff track record, right? But with the argument I just gave Dak, that gives Allen a bit more leeway. Also, MVP winner. Burrow, he can't stay on the field. Mahomes, we've seen a bit of regression since their last Super Bowl win. And their last Super Bowl win wasn't pretty. Really, we've seen a regression since Tyreek Hill left. Especially in his deep ball, right? And as far as Lamar, it's pretty much the same thing. The playoff track record. But with that being said, I have to make a decision. At 5, I think at 5, I am going to put Burrow. The reason why it's so tough to make a decision is because when Burrow is on the field, he makes plays. People call him check down Charlie. Burrow is just very safe with the football. He's also blessed to have one of, if not the best wide receiver duo in the league that are playmakers. He also has Andre Yoshivas and Mike Gesicki, who also knows how to make plays with the ball in their hands. Chase Brown also. It's just, as the quote goes, availability is the best ability. And Burrow, out of the other 3 quarterbacks that was in debate for that number 5 spot, he is the most often injured. And that's why Burrow has to go to the 5 spot right now. Burrow could easily be the best quarterback in the league, and he could be the 5th best quarterback in the league. But that's why I have Burrow at 5. At 4, give me Action Jackson. The thing with Lamar, right? The difference between Lamar and these other quarterbacks is Lamar, a lot of his success is predicated on the run game. And it's a blessing to always be top 3 in the league in rushing. A big reason as to why that is because of Lamar and the threat his legs provide. However, one thing that is true, when the bright lights come on in the playoffs, it's always something with Lamar. Even if it's not Lamar. Zay Flowers fumbling, Mark Andrews can't catch a ball. But we've also seen our fair share of Lamar meltdowns in the playoffs. And that is the one reason that I have Lamar at 4. 2-time MVP, but if we talking now, obviously still a top 5 quarterback in the league, but it's getting to a point year 8, year 9, I need something in the playoffs. At least with the other 4 quarterbacks. Burrow, Allen, Stafford, Mahomes. They've all, at the bare minimum, made a conference championship game, right? With that being said, I'm going to switch Lamar to 5 and put Burrow at 4. Burrow at 4. I don't know. They're really interchangeable. I think I'm going to do it like that because the other 4 have made a conference championship game at the bare minimum, right? So I think right now, Burrow, I'm going to put Burrow at 4, Lamar at 5. And yeah, this is every year is a big year for Lamar. But it's a big year for every quarterback. But I just want to see Lamar take his team to that next level. Because Lamar is a team elevator But when his team needs to be elevated the most, it doesn't seem like he comes through. And that's the next step I want to see Lamar take in year 9, year 8, whatever year this is. He came in 2018, so I'm assuming this is year 9. All right, so we have our top 3. We have Matthew Stafford, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen. I am going to put Mahomes at 3. Like I said, we've seen a regression in Mahomes. His deep ball, he's not, I'm not going to say as athletic, but I feel like the Mahomes magic that we've seen over the past couple years, it hasn't really been there. And that comes with not his age, but his teammates. And, not only their age, but the quality of teammates. When you go from Tyreek Hill and a young, in his prime, Travis Kelce, to an aging Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, respect to those guys, but they don't stand up to Tyreek Hill. When you go from that to this and where they're at now, things aren't going to be as pretty, which is why I have Mahomes at 3. Still obviously respected. 3-time MVP, Super Bowl winner, league MVP. I just think right now he's the 3rd best quarterback in the league. Yeah, it's really that simple. He's also coming off that ACL tear. We're going to see how he comes back from that ACL. But right now, I have Mahomes at 3. Now, 2 and 1. I can see this going both ways. Matthew Stafford, right? The best pure pocket passer in the league by far. There's no question about it. Reigning league MVP. Every time he's on the field, the Rams have a chance. No matter if the Rams are 9-8 or 13-4, the Rams have a chance to make a run every time Matthew Stafford is on the field. That's just point blank, period. However, the one thing that scares me about Matthew Stafford is his back concerns. But when Matthew Stafford is on the field, you can argue he's been the best quarterback over the past couple seasons as a collective whole. Now, Josh Allen, right? When you talk about, like I said earlier about Herbert, the combination of size, strength, agility, speed, arm talent, all of that, Josh Allen might be the most complete quarterback in the league. And I've been saying this for years. Even when Mahomes was doing his Mahomes-esque things, I think Allen is a better athlete. So Josh Allen probably is the most complete quarterback in the league. It's just when, similar to Lamar, it's always something with Josh Allen in the playoffs, in the postseason. A lot of times it's Josh Allen, and a lot of times it's his team. Either way, it's always something. With that being said, the best quarterback in the league is Matthew Stafford. It's hard not to give him that crown right now. Matthew Stafford has been playing great football as of late. Like I said, when he's on the field, that Rams offense is immediately one of the best. The talent and the weapons they put around Matthew Stafford and the things he can do with that talent is insane. All he has to do is stay on the field, and the Rams are easily always a top 5 offense in the league. Like I said, by far the best pure gunslinger in the league, the best pure pocket passer in the league. Yeah, right now, there's no quarterback I would rather have. If everyone is fully healthy, there's no quarterback I would rather have than Matthew Stafford right now. And I don't think that's an overstatement. I think he's just getting his props. It's more of a testament of who Matthew Stafford is. This is the same guy that was riding away in Detroit. So you can imagine, right? What he's done with the Rams over these previous 5 or 6 seasons, being an MVP winner, being a Super Bowl winner, leading this team to multiple conference championships. This is all within a 6-year span. Matthew Stafford has always had the talent. It's just that the talent wasn't around him in Detroit. Now that he's in Los Angeles, a team that is actually willing to build around him and actually try to compete with him, we see what we've been missing in Detroit for all those years. And within this 6-year span, he's made a Hall of Fame career. They usually say players don't get better with age, but Matthew Stafford is one of those rare occasions in which a player got better with age. He's aging like fine wine right now. And I don't expect no drop-off no time soon. Really, Matthew Stafford, whenever he leaves the game, he's still going to leave the game as a top 10 quarterback at the bare minimum. So, let's go over this list, right? Before I hop off stream, let's go over this list. So, going from 1 through 5. 1, I have Matthew Stafford. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Pat Mahomes. 4, Burrow. 5, Lamar Jackson. The top 5 is always going to be the hardest because this is the cream of the crop when talking about the league's elite quarterbacks. Then we go 6 to 10. We have Dak at 6, Jordan Love at 7, Drake May at 8, Justin Herbert at 9, Jaden Daniels at 10. A lot of people might be upset with the Jaden Daniels at 10, Caleb Williams at 11. And what I'll say to that is they're really interchangeable. I just rather my quarterback be able to not only make those big plays down the field, those clutch plays, but also be able to hit the simple stuff in front of you. And that's the one thing that's holding Caleb Williams back. 11 through 20, we have Caleb Williams at 11, Darnold at 12, Baker at 13, Hurts at 14, Goff at 15, Lawrence at 16, Purdy at 17, Knicks 18, Jones 19, Murray 20, CJ Stroud at 21, Aaron Rodgers at 22, Bryce Young 23, Cam Ward 24, Shuck 25, Dart 26, Malik 27, Geno 28, Tua 29, Kirk 30, Brissett 31, Shador 32. I think this was a fair ranking. I think even if you don't agree with where everyone is, I think you can understand why everyone is where they are. And I feel like I made a really good list, non-biased, fair, and yeah. So with that being said, let me know if you ever run across this video or this stream, whichever one you're watching. Let me know your thoughts, some things you agree with, some things you disagree with. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.
Will you be remembered? How would you be remembered? Why wouldn't you fight for the greatest achievement ever? Leave your mark.